Eliminate every obstacle that threatens my son. It's time to remove the clan chiefs so that Orsimer unification can begin. This is about survival. Surely you can understand that.
Well, at least I don't have to doubt the king now. Like, I wondered if they were going to do a rug pull, and they totally did a rug pull.
Stop me? I don't think so. The Orsimer will rally as one under King Kurog's banner. I have foreseen it.
I have foreseen it, you bumbling fool.
Let it be known, the outsider who stands before us has betrayed our great. For your actions, I condemn you and your allies to death. A sentence you shall execute by your own hand. May Trinimac guide your blade.
I'm sorry it had to come to this. What I do for the good of the Orsimer people.
Awake? Good.
So he knew.
I would have been disappointed if you died after I dragged you down here.
Okay, I was not ready for that. Okay, so it wasn't a complete rug pull, because he definitely knew what was going on, and either that or his crazy mother has like brainwashed him with magic. Holy shit.
You learn a lot about healing when you're King Kurog's shield wife. Looks like my skills apply to outsiders as well. But we've wasted enough time. You need to get moving.
What happened?
I admit I never trusted you. But you've helped our people. You deserve better than to fall to the Forge Mother. I dragged you back here before the Voshrock arrived, healed you as best I could. Now get out of here before the soldiers find you.
Well, I can't just leave, not while there are things that need to be done.
My beloved does what he must to unite our people. You know this is true. You've seen it. The clan chiefs refuse to listen. If Kurog fails, the Orsimer will never be anything more than the abused and scorned wretches the other races imagine us to be.
Everything cleared up on YouTube, guys. It looks like it's working on my end just fine, which makes me assume that it was an Ingress server issue. Because when we restarted, it probably went to another server. Or we just reset the connection between Streamlabs and there. I don't know. Either way, it seems to be cleared up. Let me know if there's another hiccup.
The chiefs have already headed to the moot, and Voshrock guard the keep. If you want to survive, you have to leave now. I don't want to fight you, but if you decide to go after the king, well, I am sworn to protect my beloved.
Well, I'm not leaving without Chief Bozrag and Evely.
I expected you'd say that. Take this. It will open the cells in the dungeon below the keep. Just take your friends far from this place, and let my beloved finish his mission to elevate our people.
Well, before I go, I need to ask you something.
My beloved believes that this is the only way to accomplish his dream. As his shield wife, I will support him.
Was this Kurog's
just
plan?
As I always have. No. He hoped that the chiefs would come to believe in his vision, to see the future he imagined just as he did. He never wanted it to come to this. But a king must always do the right thing for his people.
Won't killing chiefs turn the clans against him?
Why would they do that? They'll see a king who fought the fanatical Voshrock, who tried desperately to save the chiefs against overwhelming odds. When the dust clears, they will love him and stand united beneath his banner for all the world to see.
You guys are all crazy.
Kurog is my beloved, and I swore an oath to support and protect him. Besides, I believe in the king's dream. I believe in a united Orsimer nation. It's the best way for us to take our place as equals among the other races.
Even if it means killing innocents.
Oh, the clan chiefs are far from innocent, and their deaths will serve a higher purpose. They represent a worthy sacrifice. Now, take your friends and go. This isn't your concern any longer. Let my beloved finish what he began. Please.
Y'all are psychopaths, and you deserve whatever fate happens. Like, seriously. None of you are listening to reason. totally gonna get attacked.
Set it aflame!
Show me your claws. May your spirit know peace.
Are we going up top? Below, it says. He's still fighting up top. You do that, buddy.
We have to stop meeting like.
Oh,
you
gosh darn it,
better
I
not
clicked the
be
button by
pulling
accident.
My tusk, outsider. I've known Kurog for a long time. We may disagree on.
Man, I got like an eyelash in my eye. That's fun. When do orcs listen to reason?
We have to stop meeting like this. Maybe next time I could rescue you. What do you say?
Sure, Seraph.
What in Malakat's name is Kurog up to, I wonder? This is brash, even for him.
He's working with the Bosch Rock.
You better not be pulling my tusk, outsider.
Yeah.
I've known Kurog for
We
a
haven't known
long
each other
time.
nearly long enough for me to
We
pull
may
your
disagree
tusk,
on
sir.
certain issues, but he's
Sir.
always had the best interests of our people.
First, I
in
don't
mind.
swing that way, and
This
second of
makes
all,
no sense.
Jesus, try to woo me first.
Then there isn't any time to waste. Give me the key and head for the throne room. There's a passage in there that will lead you directly to the moot. I'll get Everlee to safety and try to gather some additional help. There are still some people here in the city that I can count on. Now do whatever you have to and get to the moot. If we run into any problems, find me outside the keep and we'll figure something out.
Find a path to the throne room. I love how even now they're like, don't steal. These objects are all gonna be listed as stolen. I'm just like, dude, they all want to kill me. Why can't I take things from the boxes right now?
Show me your claws! Light it up!
Stop this madness. This is Rothgar. Oh, I gotta kill the shield wife. I feel really bad right now. Sorry, sweetheart. Level 45, bitches. I got another invitation to the Undaunted. I don't really care right now. I will later. I'm not gonna spend any points at the moment. Beloved shield wives, seal the paths to the moot. I don't want any interruptions. Once I lock the gate, I need you, my beloved and devoted shield wives, to stand guard and deal with anyone who dares to challenge me. Jesus. They're all crazy. Talk to the chief above. Yeah, at least buy me dinner first, right? Like, come on now. We're going straight to the tusk pulling. Okay. It's gonna be that kind of a party. Hey, there's Evely.
I had a feeling I'd find you here. Kurog sealed the route to the moot, didn't he? Damn it. Most of my contacts have gone deep into hiding, and we're no closer to saving the chiefs than we were when I scraped you up off the floor of the
I found this note.
Let me see that. You can get to the moot through the temple. I had no idea that path even existed. But they sent soldiers after Solgra, that's bad. We need a new plan, and we need it now. You go ahead to the temple and check on the High Priestess. Evely and I have one more place where we can look for some help. If we're successful, it might make the path to the moot slightly less complicated.
Alright, be careful.
I'm well aware of that. I'm counting on the start of the moot to keep them distracted. But we won't take any unnecessary chances. We need Solgra alive to tell her side of the story. Then we can get to the moot and save the chiefs.
Alright, let's make this quick.
Done more for me and my people than I could have ever expected. I appreciate that. It shows you have honor. Now get to the temple and make sure the High Priestess is all right. We need her alive. The temple. I see. I know you will. I've seen you in action. Time isn't on our side, my friend.
Hang on. It didn't continue.
Temple.
Okay, do what I can.
I know you will. How could it not? The temple. The moot. Those are the fires that will test our metal. Well,
Alright, there we go.
The orcs smell, the Nords are rude, and the Bretons... Gods, don't get me started.
Usually orcs and goblins have complicated stories in every world. Misunderstood. Mistreated. I took the wrong turn. Just the only thing I don't like with this city is I find it incredibly easy to get turned around and lost in here. That's also not the way I'm supposed to go. God damn it!
This architecture is astounding.
The one time I wouldn't mind a mini map. You know, I also think Elder Scrolls Online is the perfect example of when a company has time to go back and do like backstory stuff. So one of the reasons I really loved Black Sails as a show was because it took the concept of here's Treasure Island, right? Which is a really cool, it's an amazing book. And all of the versions they've ever done for like television and film have been fun. I mean, even the Muppet Treasure Island was an absolute treasure of a film. But the coolest thing about Black Sails was they went back and said, let's talk about who these characters were. Let's talk about who Long John Silver was. Let's talk about who Captain Flint was. Like going through and creating backstories and fleshing out these worlds even more. I think that's what, for the people who really get into the lore of Elder Scrolls Online, I think that that's one of the things that's really interesting about this project. Is going back and doing prequel stories. I mean, I loved it with Star Wars as well. You know, you've got the story of how Darth Vader became Darth Vader and what that redemption arc looks like. I mean, I think that's just, when you have time to take, and not every story is going to be that way. A lot of times you just create a story, you put it out there, people enjoy it. But sometimes those things are big enough and take on a life of their own where they can support a complicated backstory. And if it's done right, you end up establishing generational franchises, which go on for decades. This is a good example of that. More story for the win. Temple of Ire. I'm gonna have to go get some more coffee here in a second. That's right, stay out of my way.
This isn't a good time to visit the temple. We have a bit of a situation.
Where's the High
I humbly
Priestess?
suggest that you come back. If this is about that incident with the fanatics, you should take it up with the king. In these difficult times, misunderstandings can quickly spiral out of control and lead to situations we'd all rather avoid.
Tell me where I can find her.
But, no, very well. When the king's soldiers banged on the door, she ran up the stairs and outside. The soldiers knocked us aside and chased after her. I don't know what Solgra did, but she's clearly made someone very angry.
She didn't say anything?
Not a word. She appeared to be as surprised as we were when the soldiers barged in. Normally, Solgra is so proper. If the soldiers hadn't had their weapons drawn, I'm sure she would have gone with him quietly.
Sounds like they got her completely by surprise. And she went fight or flight. Yeah, Allie. There was a oh man, I think it was around the time that, you know, I can't remember if it was Star Wars or Star Trek. I really can't remember. It was when, might not even be that actually. It might have been when the D&D movie came out. It was, man, I really wish I could remember the franchise. But there was something around one of my favorite franchises in recent times, like within the last couple of few years, which means it probably has to be the D&D movie. But I remember somebody put out an article which talked about the, like, when you have a big franchise that has been established for decades, Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, Star Wars, Star Trek, Middle-earth, right? These are great examples. Elder Scrolls. People, many people, have found their version of that. And for them, certain things resonate and they latch onto those things. The problem is that when you get all of these people together and everyone starts trying to clamor that their version of events is like the best version of events, or that's when things go wrong. But the article was talking about how if you are a new-coming fan coming into an established franchise like Star Wars, Star Trek, Forgotten Realms, etc., it can be really overwhelming, which is why that writer and I as well appreciate when we have shows that are standalone entries into these greater universes, so that we can have our, um, you know, Mandalorian set within the Star Wars universe that doesn't tie into, or our Andor show that is a part of that universe but is not tied into, like all this other stuff, so that as a non-believer, you can just jump in and have an adventure without needing to know all of these other things. But the problem is when you have someone who is a lore nerd who doesn't know that their love and passion for the thing is gatekeeping other people from also enjoying that thing. That's the problem that we have. And you'll see this with the hardcore Star Wars fans, the hardcore Star Trek fans, the hardcore Middle-earth fans. They will say things like, well, this isn't Star Wars. This isn't Star Trek. This isn't Elder Scrolls. This isn't Forgotten Realms. This isn't Blade Runner. This isn't, because they will say this is the version that it's supposed to be. That's the gatekeeping problem that you have with hardcore fans. They get fanatical about it, and it's like the extremely religious who will do and say stupid things because they are an extremist. Right, or that this isn't Fallout, but because it's that's when you get into it. I think that it's great to, like, I love Middle Earth. I have a huge passion for that, and I know a lot about it. I'm not an expert, but I do love it, and it's extremely frustrating when I see someone who's extremely passionate about Lord of the Rings Online and has a shared passion with me, but they are off on the extremist end of that totem pole, trying to gatekeep people into watching Rings of Power. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Let people enjoy Middle Earth however they want. Like, there are things I didn't like in the Hobbit films. Like, I really didn't feel that they needed to bring Radagast into those films, but they did, and I get it. It's a great way to get kids to come see the movie. It's a great way to get butts in seats and sell movie tickets. I get it. And over time, as I've watched the extended editions of those films, I have grown to have a grudging appreciation of the introduction of Radagast into those films. But even I can objectively look at those films and say, yeah, that's not lore accurate. Who gives a fuck? Right? If it's fun and it brings new people to the franchise and it brings more people into Middle Earth and it brings people who can share that passion, who cares? Like, let's have more Middle Earth. Let's have more Lord of the Rings. Let's not gatekeep. Let's not say things like Tolkien would have rolled over in his grave and we shouldn't do that. No. That's not how this works. Like, he's been dead for 100 years at this point. I have great respect for him as a writer and everything else, but the franchise has moved on beyond him. Like, it's in the hands of other people now, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying that and having fun with that and playing around in that playground. Same thing with George Lucas and Star Wars. He said he was done with it. He gave it to other people who wanted to expand it. Let them expand it. I am along for the journey. I am happy to see where this universe can go while I am living out the rest of my life. Yeah, when they tell people you're not a real fan. Oh, I'll definitely tell that to people. I'll definitely tell people you're not a real fan. I will definitely tell people that. Here's the thing. It's the worst with Star Wars than any other franchise I've ever known. Because you will have people who will say things like, Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. And I will say to them, then you're not a real fan. Then you're not a real fan of the franchise. Sorry. You don't have to like the Disney Star Wars films. I don't like Radagast in the Hobbit films. But do I sit here and say that the Hobbit films aren't Middle-earth films? They are 100% Middle-earth films. They are 100% Lord of the Rings. 100%. I don't like Radagast in those films. And doesn't make them any less legitimate. So to say that Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars is you as a person, not you as the individual, but you don't get to say that because Disney Star Wars is Star Wars. So if you are a fan of a franchise, then you accept, embrace, and enjoy all aspects of the franchise, even if there are specific moments that you might not enjoy as much. I fucking hate the Christmas special. The Star Wars Christmas special is horrible. Even George Lucas looks back on the Star Wars Christmas special and cringes at what he did there. But it is still an important part of the Star Wars canon, cycle, journey, legend, all of that stuff. So I think you literally can say to some people that you're not a real fan. I think that you actually can make that criticism. If someone isn't embracing all aspects of it and trying to gatekeep and say, this isn't Star Wars, you shouldn't watch it. This isn't Middle Earth, you shouldn't watch it. Like, the moment someone says stuff like that, this isn't Fallout, don't play it. This isn't Elder Scrolls, don't do it. Like, the moment someone says that, they are not a true fan. They are a gatekeeper, and they need to go away. They are toxic fandom at its best. Yeah, those people can GTFO for sure. But I think that yeah, it's yeah, I would say that that comes back to toxic fandom at its worst. And I think that most of the people who are toxic fandom are people who actually have a pretty deep grasp on the lore of things. And they may have had passion for it at once upon a time, but they have allowed the dark side to take hold. And they have become the very thing they swore to, to defend against. Because they have become, the dark side. They have fallen to the dark side. Darth Vader had good intentions. He wanted to save his wife. He wanted to protect her. He had good intentions, and those good intentions were corrupted by the dark side. And I think that that is where every single toxic fan starts. They start in the Anakin Skywalker position, and they fall to the Darth Vader position. That's the cycle that has happened when you have a toxic fan. In Palpatine's words, ironic. Joe says, you're grinding. I work nights. Whenever I open TikTok, you're streaming. I hope you're sleeping well. I do sleep well. I go to bed at about 7:30, 8 o'clock every night, and I wake up at about 4. And I take a nap every single day. So I get my 8 hours, sometimes more. We're getting some banger conversations out of this morning's stream. Good stuff. Ironic.
There she is! Don't let the traitor get away!
No, don't jump. Don't jump. I'm saving your ass. Don't you dare jump, crazy lady.
What in Trinimac's name is going on? Why did Kurog send soldiers after me? They acted like I'd done something horrible. I didn't want to show it, but I was frightened for my life. I'm just glad you arrived when you did.
Those weren't just soldiers, they were Voshkarok. Did they hurt you?
Voshrak? I don't understand. But no, they didn't hurt me. Not for lack of trying, though. So tell me, what kind of trouble are we in now?
They're gonna try to blame you, claim you're behind it.
What a ridiculous notion. Trinimac promotes unity and civilization, not anarchy and violence like those Voshrak fanatics claim. Dare I ask? Tell me, who do we have to thank for this terrible situation?
No, because they can't touch the Silmarillion, Joe. But they can touch the appendices. So there were mentions, there are parts of the appendices in the end of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, which talk about where Radagast was at specific points in time and what he was doing with Gandalf. So there is an argument to be made for the fact that they would have interacted together and they would have done these things. And let's just take that and use that as sort of a building block to create this little adventure where we can bring Radagast in and have him with Gandalf, and they're over in Mirkwood doing this thing. And there was definitely some creative yeah, I mean that's one of those gray areas where you can, and I think that that's good to do. Like I said, I don't agree with it as a creative decision, but I embrace what it is and the fact that it got butts in seats. So I can't fault it for that, even if I don't personally agree with the reasons they put it in. But I understand why they did it, because if Brandon Sanderson has a great discussion on why adaptations need to be different based on the medium they are published in. I've mentioned this 100 times probably over the past couple of years. Um, so it's if you're the showrunner and you have a book in front of you and you're trying to dissect that book and turn it into something for television, um, there's a lot of like in between the lines that you can do. And as long as you're staying true to the main story, you can kind of come in here and say, well, I wanna create a little. Right, that's how they made The Hobbit into a trilogy rather than just one big like 3 hour long movie. Because theoretically, you could take The Hobbit and make it a three hour film. That's totally doable if you strip it down to just the basic beats. You know, Hobbit, dwarves show up at his house. There's the dinner. There's the handkerchief, the note. Off on the pony. Then at the pony, we're in the rain. From the rain, we go to the trolls. From the trolls, we go to Rivendell. From Rivendell, we go to the Misty Mountains. From the Misty Mountains, we go down to the um, into the mountain. We get the ring. We go out. There's out of the frying pan into the fire chapter where the wargs are coming. They're in the trees. They get rescued by the eagles. They go to Baron. Boom. Then there's Mirkwood. And then from Mirkwood, it's straight from Mirkwood to the Lost Lake, from the Lost Lake to the mountain, from the mountain back. Then there's the battle, and then you're done. You could totally boil it down to a really good 3 hour film. It's totally doable. But here's the thing. If I owned that franchise and I'm going to invest $250 million into making something, you're damn right I'm going to exploit that IP. You're goddamn right. I'm going to sell t-shirts, lunch boxes. I'm going to make an animated television show for kids. I'm going to make a mobile game. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do all the things because I want to, like, from a business perspective, absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with taking an IP and doing lots of creative things with it. Make it into 3 films? Why not? We can totally make that happen. Is it going to be fun? Fuck yeah, it's going to be fun. Is it going to piss off some hardcore lore nerds? Sure. And? Oh yeah, I've said this before, like, knowing that young people have a Star Wars, like, when I got to take my nephew, he's 11 now, I took him to see, not The Last Jedi, the one after that, the Skywalker film. The last one in the Disney trilogy. Well, the one where they're like, Palpatine's back, and I'm sitting in the theater going, this is objectively not a great Star Wars movie. I can totally admit that. I have no shame in admitting that is objectively not a great Star Wars movie, but it is still a part of canon, and so I embrace it. But I watched my little, however he was at the time, 6 years old, 7 years old nephew, and he's watching his very first Star Wars film in the theater. And he thinks The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie of all time. And he's seen all of the Star Wars movies. He's watched The Book of Boba Fett. He's watched The Mandalorian. He has been playing Lego Star Wars games since he was 2 years old with my brother. My little nephew loves Star Wars. And he thinks The Last Jedi is the best thing ever. And for him to be able to sit there in the movie theater and see The Rise of Skywalker on screen as a 6-year-old kid, I looked at that and I fucking wept. I looked at that and I cried and said, oh my God, that is Star Wars. That right there is what Star Wars is to all of us who were once 5 years old and saw Chewbacca or Han's blaster or heard a lightsaber and all like that right there. And I looked at that and that was the moment for me when I said, I will never, ever, ever say to someone that this thing, this movie, this comic book, this TV show, you shouldn't watch this because it's not good. I will never, ever, ever say that to someone ever again. And if I have ever said that before this moment, I take it all back. I apologize for ever telling someone that, because watching the purity and the innocence of this 6-year-old kid, like, fully immersed in everything that was going on. He's in a theater with his dad and his uncle, who also love Star Wars, and he is watching blasters and lightsabers and Wookiees and stormtroopers, and all this stuff is happening on the screen. And I can remember what I felt when I saw my first Star Wars experience in the theater, and I'm like, and everything that I had negative about that film just fell away, because I was in the moment with my nephew, watching the screen, going, "Fuck yeah, lightsabers and blasters and fucking Wookiees and Jedi, and oh yeah, man!" Like, the moment you can embrace that inner child, and you can go back to that same mentality you had when you were 5 years old, that for me is what being a fan of something is all about. Like, that right there is being a fan. Like, it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be as good as. It doesn't have to be better than. It just has to be something that can take you away and bring you joy on the inside. And I think there is a little bit of that to be found everywhere if you let it. If you embrace it.
We can't allow that to happen. But why have you come to help me? The clan chiefs are more important. You should be at the moot, doing whatever you can to foil the king's dastardly plan. There's a path to the moot through the temple. Perhaps via the old tunnels. Yes, that must be the way. Here, take this key. It opens the library. If they're really...
There she is! My arrow will
Behind
find
you!
its mark.
On the ledges!
Oh no,
One
are they
side!
gonna shoot her?
Quick, let's get...
High Priestess, no!
She's down! Make sure none of her allies survive!
Get the assassin! I'll take Solgra back to the temple. Go!
You fuckers.
Stop them! Don't let the traitors get past you!
Yeah, Mark Hamill even had some public things to say about his difference of opinion with the creative decisions. But at the end of the day, he's like, it's not my story to tell. I'm just the guy portraying it.
Know when I'm outmatched.
Cowardly assassin.
I have my orders. Don't you know that High Priestess Solbra is a criminal, an enemy of the Orsimer? She's the leader of the Vosh Rock. You should thank me for what I've done.
And except you know very well that that's not true.
How would I know such a thing? I'm just a simple soldier. I'm not a cultist in disguise. And even if I were, you can't prove a thing. Trinimac will reward my service.
Traitorous bitch. Yes, there's nothing wrong with obsession. Let me introduce you to lunchbox collecting and action figures and Let's go paint miniatures together.
They were soldiers. Trying to stop them would have only put us all in danger.
I should not have jumped. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I forgot that, I forgot
You cannot leave
I'm not
like
playing
this.
Fallout with my power armor.
In here to save her.
I think the biggest issue with the Disney Star Wars films, Joe California, this is based on what he said. I wish they expanded the direction two films instead of what they did in The Last Jedi, exploring her dark side more. I think the biggest problem with the Star Wars era, the Disney Star Wars films, is that it became very evident that they didn't have a. So when you have, and this is something that's very important when you're guiding a franchise, like there needs to be one person, and that's it, who is the creative. George Lucas was the creative. He was the chief everything. It was his vision that guided everything. And even though he made changes along the way, Stephen King has done the same thing with like the Dark Tower series. You know, he's retconned it multiple times over 30 different years. Even when Star Wars, the original trilogy, even when the original trilogy had different directors, George Lucas was still there. I am the head creative. I am the head producer. I make all the script decisions. I make all the writing decisions. I make all the casting decisions. Like, you're just here to direct this vision of this script, but I'm still on set, every single day. They didn't have that with the Disney trilogy. The Disney trilogy was, we're going to let this guy have his creative vision, and we're going to let this guy have his creative vision, and we're going to let this guy have his creative vision, and we're going to sit back and we're going to say, okay, we approve that or we disapprove that. But it was very obvious that the story was not, I think they went into it and said, we're going to, like, George had this outline. I think those two things work. Let's take that. Let's make an expanded show version. And then along the way, they went, well, that's not resonating with the test audience. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to do this instead. I definitely get the feel, the vibe that happened, that there were decisions being made, not because there was a creative individual behind the scenes going, that's the story I want to tell, but because there was a marketing department involved that said, we've got to recoup the $4 billion that we just spent to acquire this franchise. How are we going to maximize butts in seats? We're going to do this, that. I definitely see that as part of the Disney era of Star Wars. That's not to say that they have not created some really fun stuff, though. Like, I love the shows. I quite enjoy the Disney trilogy of films. The Solo movie is great. I like The Last Jedi. My Stick is Bacon is one of the best meme songs we have ever gotten out of a film. And I think that there are some really cool stuff on all of it. I loved The Acolyte. It was fucking awesome. The Wookiee Jedi who, like, that fight scene with the Wookiee Jedi is one of the coolest things I've seen. Like, just the pure brute power of that Jedi and the way he was able to just absolutely behemoth the other guys in that lightsaber fight sequence. I was great. Correct. That's what I'm getting at. Because with the shows, if you look at the Disney Star Wars shows, they have a creative lead who is guiding the entire show. Whereas with the films, it was like, we're going to have a different director for every single film. It would have been much better to say, here's a director, he's going to direct a trilogy of films, which supposedly they were going to do with Rian Johnson, and that hasn't come to fruition. They said D.B. Weiss and what's his name, the guys from Game of Thrones, were going to do a trilogy. That didn't come to fruition. Like, it's, whenever you're doing like a creative thing like that, I think Harry Potter did a good job of this when they did the Harry Potter films, because there were directors who came and did big blocks of films. You were like, here's a director who's going to do these 3 films. This director's going to. They did the same thing with Mission Impossible. This director's going to do these 3. This director's going to do these 3. This director's going to do these 3. Which helps create a unified vision across trilogies within a greater franchise. Anyway, I say all that to say that I have loved the Disney Star Wars shows. Like, every single one of them has been super fun to watch. Even my least favorite, which was The Book of Boba Fett, still had things that were super interesting in it. And fun, like seeing some of the characters show up from the Clone Wars in the Book of Boba Fett was really, really cool. But like I said, I'm a fan of Star Wars, so
If that makes you feel
I like all of it,
better.
even though I can nitpick certain
What in
aspects of it.
Malakath's name
Oh, I
happened
can't wait,
there?
Allie. I can't wait for the new Starfleet Academy series. It comes out on the 15th. My birthday's on the 16th, so that's my happy birthday present, is I get to go watch a really cool new Star Trek show. And I can't fucking wait. Strange New Worlds has been awesome. I've loved Discovery. Like, the only thing I haven't watched is Lower Decks. I haven't watched Lower Decks, which is the animated show they've done. But I love me some Star Trek. It's gonna be good.
Solgra didn't deserve this fate, as much as I disagreed with her. She was a good person.
Yeah, Dribom, that's
A caring
definitely, you know, that can be fair. There needs to
Urag
be
has
some
gone
sort of
too
unifying
far this
vision behind the
time.
scenes, whether it's the
He
writer,
has to be stopped.
the same writer across all 3 projects. Because when you have a committee of people who are overseeing things, like, details are going to get forgotten. You're looking at scripts, you're looking at 50 scripts a day, and you're relying on a spreadsheet to help you keep track of all the ideas. That's literally what happens at that point. You have a spreadsheet, and you have 10 people who are helping you manage the spreadsheet. And then every time you have a question, you ask the 10 spreadsheet people, hey, what about this character, this character, this character? And they'll tell you what the spreadsheet says. But I can promise you, as someone who has created my own worlds, I can't remember. Like, if I'm working on someone else's world that I haven't personally created, I have to refer to them as a consultant every time that I need to know something, or I have to. Whereas if I created the characters and I know the characters and I wrote the characters, then I don't need to consult with someone else about the motivations or the point of view or the things that this person would be doing in this situation or how they would react to that situation, because I fucking know. So that's the problem when you have, like, different writers on each script, because you're taking characters that you didn't actually create and you're trying to make them, but you don't know those characters. It's tricky. It's hard. It's very difficult. Chief Brosrog is Sarevok.
Did Solgra know about the tunnels beneath the temple? Was she able to tell you how we can reach the moot before more people die? This isn't going to be like swimming in mud with the Argonians. We're talking about defying the king.
Yeah, I think the
Best
High
will be
Republic books are
branded as
great.
Kingslayers.
And I really
Worst
hope
will
that
be dead.
High Republic game they were working on
This
comes to
isn't your
fruition,
fight.
which is by Quantum Dream.
Not really. Are you
Quantum Dream?
still ready to go through with this?
It's the French company. Why am I blanking on the name of it? It was announced 3 or 4 years ago. We got a trailer for it, and then there hasn't been any word on it since, other than that they are working on it. Star Wars Eclipse. Thank you, Korean Gamer. That's the one I was thinking of. All right, Kuruk betrayed us all. Related in this. Yep, like a week to the next season in Fallout 2. Yep.
Then we take the fight to Kurag and Alga. If they refuse to give up their mad plans, then we fight on until one side or the other has been defeated. Kurag's reign ends today. So swears Basrog of Clan Farum. So swears Basrog of the Orsimer.
So say we all!
May Trinimac take you to your final reward, High Priestess.
Chief Basrog, I thought you were a firm believer in Malakath.
There is no place for a gentle soul in the Ashen Forge, priest. So why not let Trinimac have her?
Goodbye, my friend. I'm going to miss you.
This is fucking traumatic, man. get up there? Is there a cliffhanger into the Acolyte? No. No. It's not a... I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger ending. It has some loose threads. But it's not a cliffhanger ending. But it's definitely... it gives you an ending to the season story. So the resolution to the story of the season with some loose threads that tease things that were going to come down the pipeline. Like I think there was a couple of reveals at the end where it was like, ooh, that just showed up. That person just showed up. Ooh, where are they going with this next season? But it definitely has a great finale. And dare I say, that lightsaber fight in the final episode is one of the best lightsaber sequences that exists in Star Wars. It is fucking... Because they blend martial arts with lightsabers. Dude, it is fucking awesome. It's so good. Yeah, Detroit Become Human was a great game.
You'd think that temple priests would be neater. These manuscripts are all over the place. Look everywhere. It'll probably be something odd or out of place, like those switch...
We have 2 switches. Alright, I'm looking this up. Haha. Eastern switch. Wolf should face north. Western switch. Hammer should face north. So this should be a hammer. And this should be a wolf. Yes. Oh, hang on, there's another switch up top. Owl towards the door. But is that the door? Okay.
Well, I'll be a puny dark elf. You found it. I guess we're climbing down that
Yes,
road.
the Maul Ashoka fight, and I love the fact that they got Ray Park to come back and mocap that.
That gate doesn't appear to be locked. Go on. I'm right behind you.
Alright, Temple Under Tunnels. Welcome to the sewer, kids.
Silence, please! Your constant bickering has plagued our people for long enough.
Turog's
You
belligerent
isolate
chiefs,
yourselves
they
in
will
your own
stand.
strongholds, perpetuating our selfish nature. We must change who and what we are.
Elrond's got a point.
Serve better.
We're still going to kill the bastard, right?
Oh, we're definitely gonna kill the bastard. We've gotta figure out how to get out of here, though. Does it matter which way to go? Yeah, it is. It does matter. I have to go. I am gonna try to just barrel through this to the end and not deal with any of the trash until I'm forced to stop.
I tried to appeal to you as equals, but you refuse to listen. I grow tired of arguing with you.
There you go. Up.
The king cares for our people, and all you do is break his
Ow,
heart.
come on. Break on through to the other side.